Day morning, Great Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Hey, welcome to the show. Just an hour today because we have Chiefs-Colts pregame. I had somebody on Twitter take a shot at that saying, where was it? A packed show. Wouldn't it be great if there was a focus on Billikens, Indiana soccer tournament instead of the Missouri Chiefs? How do you know that I'm not talking about SLU men's soccer? I responded to DS Bill. And DS Bill responded, no doubt, I'm confident you are in that tight 1 hour. Thank you, DS Bill. So all you have to do is respond and just, that's all. I mean, I'm just a person like you. I'm human. We can talk back and forth if you need something. The SLU has got a big game against my alma mater today. 11 o'clock start, SLU men's soccer at Bloomington, Indiana's Jerry Yeagley Field at Bill Armstrong Stadium. They've won 8 national championships at Indiana. You know how many SLU's won? 10, most of all time. That's a big-time matchup there between those two in the second round of the NCAA tournament. We'll talk some college football playoffs. Got an email. Can I read this on the air? It's fine. I'll read it on the air. From Dennis Stanovsky. Said, hey, Tommy, did you fall off the Illinois bandwagon? You were hyping them early this season. Now, after a huge loss to 3-7 Wisconsin, nary a word about the game or the stinging loss. You're becoming a hack, Tom Ackerman. Live it, wear it. Disappointed, Dennis Stanovsky. Now, I went to the Musial Awards last night, the 20th Musial Awards, and we just celebrated 100 years of KMOX and thought about all the great professionals who have worked here. In 20 years, you know what the Musial Awards are. They're national sportsmanship awards. They're about being sportsmanlike. And so somebody came up to me before the ceremony and said, I appreciate how you always take the high road on the air. And I thought that was very nice of that person to say. And so now that I'm reading this email, and he said, I know that you want to. I know you want to bite back sometimes. I know you want to snap back, but you don't. And I think it's appreciated. So I appreciate that person for saying that. So I read this email today. And of course, your first reaction is you go on the defense. But this is how I responded. Tell me if this is high road or not, Drew, okay? I said, Dennis, I mentioned them all morning. What are you talking about? I called it a bad loss, more disappointing than Mizzou's loss, a loss that will cause you to reevaluate what you're doing in the offseason. And that was just this morning. I think it's possible you heard a sportscast, maybe 8:45, where I skipped over them because I was projecting the CFP. They are irrelevant to the CFP discussion. I've been disappointed in Illinois all season and have expressed that on the air. I went to Indiana, if you recall, and my school smoked them 63-10. I ripped Brett Bielema after the game for not having his team ready and for having such a poor line offensively and defensively, and my criticism continued from there. I do appreciate you listening for it, though, Dennis, and I welcome your feedback. Thanks for supporting what we do. TA.
That's perfect.
Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Okay, I sent it already, so. I mean, this is the honest truth. I do appreciate, I don't care, name calling doesn't bother me. I appreciate people caring enough to craft an email. And that's always been the case in my 28 years here. I'd say when I was younger, I took that a little harder. Now I love the interaction. I mean, interaction means that you're listening, you're paying attention. I love it very much. So thank you, Dennis. I just wanted to throw that one out there to get us started. And yeah, Illinois was terrible yesterday. I mean, you lose to Wisconsin 27-10, you are irrelevant. And now with 4 losses, Mizzou has 4 losses. They're irrelevant from the CFP discussion too. Both of those programs have a lot to work on. Mizzou's loss to Oklahoma, not as disappointing as the loss up in Madison. Wisconsin's got some linebackers, some young guys that can hit. I saw it last week in Indiana's 31-7 win over Wisconsin. It was a close game for a while. But Illinois should be winning that game if they want to be a player. And for Mizzou, losing at Oklahoma I thought was expected. What was not expected is this team cannot move the football. And, they have a great running game. They have great running backs, excellent running backs. They have very, very good wide receivers. They have an SEC defense that is top tier. They hit hard. They wrap up. Trotter was just crushing everybody. Really good defense. The problem with this team is twofold. Their coaching sometimes makes questionable decisions when it comes to play calling and when it comes to game decisions like kicking a field goal on a 4th and 3 at the 17 when you're up 3-0. But also just the passing game itself. I mean, Bo Pribula, I love the fact that he came back and gave it a shot. We'll talk to Bernie Miklasz about this in a minute. Gave it a shot, but their problem is he's not a great passer. He's not an accurate passer, and they do not have a passing game to complement what is an excellent running game and an excellent defense. They can't move the chains. And, he had some nice throws here and there, but it's disappointing, and their offensive line doesn't protect. They do not protect, and that's a real problem. So Mizzou, disappointing. They lose 17-6 at Oklahoma. Illinois, I thought, as I said on the air early this morning, Dennis, that was a more disappointing loss to me. The CFP, neither team's involved. Who else got bounced? Georgia Tech. Well, they were already bounced. Georgia Tech, though, got bounced. That one at home to Pitt. Ohio State looked fine. Indiana had the week off. A&M played roast beef college, and like all these schools in the SEC that play these little schools before no one ever criticized the SEC for that. They'll hammer the Big Ten teams for playing weak non-conference, but they play 9 conference games. But SEC, who plays 8 conference games and perhaps here and there a hefty preseason non-conference game, no one criticizes them for playing Mercer and Charlotte and Eastern Illinois, right before the rival, ever. Yeah, like KT just said, Bama, Eastern Illinois. Nobody. I mean, that's like, oh, no, it's accepted. Yeah, I don't like it either, but I'm an SEC fan. That's how it's always been. So they get to hammer all these teams and rest all their starters before the rivalry game and a possible playoff. Oh, that's convenient. That's convenient. But anyway, A&M, Georgia, the usual suspects. Texas Tech had the day off. Ole Miss, Oregon. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin is leaving us all hanging as to where he's going to coach next year. So it's a shame because they're having one of the best years in school history, but they're all worried about their coach. Oregon looked good yesterday, eliminating USC. The rest of the top 10, it'll be interesting to see where it all falls. Oklahoma will be good. Bama should be fine. Notre Dame runs up the score on Syracuse. I mean, they had their starters in there at 49-0 in the second half. Okay. I mean, they're going to let Notre Dame in no matter what they do, as long as they run the rest of the table, they're fine. I mean, they're Notre Dame. Their brand will get in, but they ran up the score. And then the Big 12 gets interesting with BYU winning. A good win at Cincinnati. I think the CFP is going to be kind of fun here. The ACC, nobody knows who's going to win the ACC. Now SMU's back involved again. They'll be playing Virginia likely in the ACC title game. Miami's going to be complaining about this, but they may get bounced if they're not. They can't play in the ACC title game, so they're an at-large, but they're ranked higher than everybody else in the ACC. It's such a weird system. And then the group of 5, who knows what's going to be there. I mean, is it Tulane, North Texas, James Madison? I do like that it gives hope to the smaller schools, though, so that's good. But it's all confusing to people because they see the top 12, and then ESPN will say on Tuesday night, oh, but these last 2 won't make it because the ACC's got to get a team in there, and then we have to look way down here to go find a group of 5 team to fit in there, and everyone gets all confused and out of sorts. They need to explain that a little bit better, but that's how they do that. It's not the top 12. It's the top 10 plus 2. So we'll get through all that when we get to it. Not a very exciting college football weekend, but, oh, baby, a big one coming this weekend. Big. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Bernie Miklasz will join us. We'll discuss the Blues win over the Islanders, Mizzou and Illinois and everybody else. And we'll also get a word from Josh Schertz on not only his basketball team, but that men's soccer team that's about to play here at 11 o'clock. And at 10:45, oh, yes, Chaim Bloom will be with us. He's been so good at putting it in his calendar and moving it around for us to accommodate the NFL. Yes, we carry the Chiefs games on Sunday. Get over it. Back in a moment. Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The Brennans love celebrating the holidays at home, and there's never been a better time to move up to McKelvey with our Home for the Holidays sale. Save big with savings of $25,000 plus up to $10,000 cash at closing on every move-in ready home, and on select homes, special financing starting at 4.75%. We have a wide variety of homes with all the most popular features selected by our experienced design team. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Do you like the word thorough? It's a good word, thorough. It means complete, accurate, detailed. Well, when you go to Ophthalmology Associates, you will get a thorough eye examination. The technology's incredible. It's all up to date, the very latest. And Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer and their staff will make your visit very personal. That's because they believe every patient is unique. Ophthalmology Associates takes all the research and technology and their personal knowledge and expertise and tailor it into an eye care plan that is as unique as you are. Services include everything from expert treatment of cataracts and retinas to comprehensive eye exams for you and the kids, and a full-service optical shop with a ton of frames to choose from. Ophthalmology Associates, 3 St. Louis area locations. Visit youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, Dr. Rohina Pani.
One thing that's important to remember is if you're concerned and you identify some family history, which typically means first-degree relatives and other risk factors for this disease, talk to your doctor about your family history, and they can then refer you to centers that specialize in those screening programs like Siteman Cancer Center.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Just a quick question. Does it encrypt your online traffic the same as NordVPN?
No, but it protects your device. Just pop that CD in and you're good to go.
But it will stop your internet service provider and other snoopers from monitoring you online, right?
Oh, no, not really. It won't stop online snoopers or block annoying ads. In fact, forget what I said at the beginning of this ad. This ad is now about NordVPN. I just realized that an antivirus is only half protection online. So get better online protection with the NordVPN Black Friday deal. It will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. This Black Friday, get NordVPN with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months. Yeah!
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Black Friday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Black Friday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th Anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
And we welcome in Bernie Miklasz. Boy, we're going to cram everything into this hour, Bernie, so let's get right to it. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Yeah. Looking forward to talking to you as always.
Always love talking on these Sunday mornings. First of all, great job on the 100th. I mean, your words were very kind towards the station, but you know you're a big part of this station. How highly we think of you. So you're part of the family, and you have been for a long, long time.
You know, I came to St. Louis in 1985, and I didn't know anyone. No one knew me, and of course, the Post-Dispatch was a huge platform for me as a football writer and then a columnist. But let me just say this. People didn't get to know me, like the personality, a sense of who I was. St. Louis didn't know me until I started. Mr. Highland was kind enough to put me on KMOX early on when I got here. And that's how, the great St. Louis sports fans got a chance to get to know the new guy. Because when you're on the radio, people can get a great sense of your personality and this and that. And so I'm always grateful to KMOX because they helped establish me very much so in St. Louis. And that's why anytime I've had a chance for KMOX, I'm honored, and I basically have to restrain myself from saying, well, I'll pay you. How much will you charge me to be on the air? So anyway.
I appreciate that. And radio does that. I mean, it really is. I think I felt like I got better when I dropped the whole try to be Mr. Broadcaster and just be me, and let
that's right.
Right. Let people just hear who I am. And that was always a great thing for me. And I think the same for Ollie Marmol. I've had a lot of people stop me this offseason and said, boy, I've totally changed my attitude on Ollie. I mean, hearing him on KMOX's Gas House Gang, people listen to it. They've totally changed their mindset. Now, I wonder this season if, do they lay off of him a little bit because it's a rebuild or what the case may be. But I don't know. I'm not sure yet because I need to see what Chaim does, how good of a team this is going to be. I mean, do you think there's any chance that they could be an entertaining bunch, maybe surprise some people for at least a little while?
Yeah, I think, and especially if a couple of the young guys, if J.J. Weatherholt, who was a very entertaining player, I mean, he is. There's just no question about it. He's got personality, flair, charisma. He's one of these guys you love to watch him swing the bat. He's just got a great, smooth style, wonderful swing. I think a guy like that will provide some entertainment. And if some of the guys that we've been waiting on can step it up a little bit, their offense might, I'm not going to say take off, but their offense might be a lot better. But it's just so tough. You said it right at the beginning. It's so tough to know or gauge what kind of team it's going to be, because I think Chaim Bloom's going to be really aggressive. Not aggressive as in, they're not going to go out and sign Dylan Cease. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about aggressive just in terms of roster additions and bringing more young and upstart talent in here. So I got an open mind about it.
I do too. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what happens here. And actually, this conversation I'm going to have with Chaim in about 20 minutes just to run through some of the transactions that have already been made. Bernie, I'm not going to get too excited about the Blues, but they did win a game 2-1 over the Islanders. Bennington makes 30 saves. And, I have a connection, of course, to the past all the time. And you think about all the teams that started bad and made a run. I don't see this type of roster, though, on the Blues right now, a team that's capable of doing that. But if Benner can steal some games for them, they got a chance to do something.
Yeah, I'll keep this simple. I know I'm long-winded, but the St. Louis Blues, this season have had not only the worst save percentage in the league, but they've had the worst save percentage in every category, whether it's 5-on-5, it's even strength, all strengths, high danger shots, whatever. Just statistically and factually, the very worst goaltending in the league. Now, why'd they win last night? They scored 2 early goals. What's been happening? Well, they've been coughing up those early leads over and over and over again. What was different last night? Jordan Binnington stopped 30 out of 31 shots. So the New York Islanders and they threw a lot at him in the third period because they're thinking, well, these guys will crack. They give up third period leads all the time. He didn't let it happen. So, I mean, sometimes it really is that simple. You got to stop the puck, right?
That's right.
And on the other side, the Blues get chances. They're top guys that are paid a lot of money. They don't finish enough. They don't put the puck in the net enough. So that's the thing. You need your scorers and your high salary guys to finish, and you need your Stanley Cup winning goaltender to get back into this consistent form that makes him special when he's sharp.
The college football playoff will not include Mizzou and Illinois. We've known that for a little while. My question to you is, which program do you think is better equipped for the future to make a run at the CFP? Is it Missouri, who lost to Oklahoma yesterday, or is it Illinois, who I thought had a worse loss at Wisconsin yesterday?
Oh, much worse loss. That was an embarrassing loss. Well, first of all, we don't know who's going to be coaching Mizzou next season, so that's tough to answer. I think Mizzou has come a very long way in terms of facilities and funding and getting, sort of galvanizing the support of the state fans and money people and everything else. I mean, the program's in really, really good shape, but you still, if he leaves, you still have to get the right coach, and you just never know how that's going to work out. I'll say this about Illinois. I think it's a bit of a sleeping giant in this context, because obviously at the very top of the Big Ten, there are some great teams, but there's some really bad teams in the Big Ten as well. And my point being, I think there's more upward mobility if you're in the Big Ten. I think your alma mater proves that. You get the right coach and things connect all of a sudden, you can move way up in the Big Ten. I'm not so sure that happens easily. And I'm not saying it was easy for Indiana. You get my point.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's no way it's that easy to do that in the SEC, to go from second, third worst in the team or whatever, all the way into the top 3 or 4. That's a tough mountain to climb. I think it can be done, as Indiana has shown, in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and Indiana quickly locked up Curt Cignetti, ending all conversations about him moving forward, which is a difficult thing right now for Mizzou fans, for Ole Miss fans. I mean, there's a lot going on out there. I thought Nick Saban put it pretty well yesterday when he said we need some guidelines on this whole transfer portal thing too. I mean, you got people trying to establish programs in the middle of the season for next year.
Well, I did a video on this at STL Sports Central because I was all hot about this. I just simply cannot comprehend how you would have a system where you're a head coach. First of all, you sign him to a contract extension, in some cases, several contract extensions. And then months later, another team or teams, they're tampering with him, like in the middle of the season. And the contract is non-binding. It's non-binding. So these schools all let other schools tamper with their coach, even though he's got a signed contract. So what exactly is the contract worth in terms of you being able to keep the coach that you just gave a huge raise to and signed him for 6 or 7 years? It means absolutely nothing because you're allowed to tamper. The contracts are non-binding. Let me give you an example that I used in the video really quick, okay? Like what's going on with Lane Kiffin right now, for example. And let's just say he does announce after the Friday's game that he's going to go to LSU. Let's hypothetically, okay. This would be like the Cardinals are in a tough pennant race, right? And it's like late August or September. And Whitey Herzog announces, well, I tell you what, man, I'm just going to pick a hypothetical. The Giants offer, you wouldn't believe the money they offer me. I got to take the job. I'm sorry. Bye. It's like what? Seriously. It's like what? The Tony La Russa, the Cardinals, that great team they had in 2004, won 105 games. He wants to go back to the Bay Area. There's family trouble or whatever, health issues or whatever. So it's like September 1st of the 2004 season, and he says, "Well, I don't want to do this, but he just made an offer I can't refuse, and I just need to be out there. So I'm sorry. Joe Patini's taking over. Bye." That's how crazy. That's how lunacy in this is unbelievable. And Tommy, I read a lot of stuff. Like no one, like national media, you think they'd be all over. No one talks about this.
No, they welcome it because they love the whole coaching carousel chaos thing, and it's like especially the SEC media. It's like they accept it. There's acceptance that LSU and Florida need a coach, so. That's a bigger job. So they're all saying like, what?
Well, and listen, I'm not blaming Jimmy Sexton and Trace Armstrong, like the two most powerful agents that represent coaches. I mean, they're only taking advantage of this idiotic insane, incomprehensible system where you can tamper with somebody else's coach. And you know why? I'll tell you why. I'm going to answer my own question. I'll tell you why they don't stop it. Like the power conference teams or whomever just say, no, we're putting in new rules. This is it. A contract is binding. If we fire the coach, we will pay out what's in the contract in terms of what he legally deserves to receive. But here's the deal. If you do that, if you raise hell and you try to change the system, the next time you're looking for a coach, Jimmy Sexton, Trace Armstrong, you're like, well, wait a minute. Whoa, we got to be careful here. We're going to need one of his clients to take over our program. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a network. It's a web. You get yourself entangled in it. Yeah.
So you can't put your foot down and say, no, though this contract's binding, we're making the next contract binding. Because Jimmy Sexton would say, well, okay, but if you fire this guy and want to coach, we're not going to be able to talk because that's not how we do this.
I love going behind the curtain in sports. It makes us cynics a lot of the time when it comes to these beautiful sports that we watch, but it's still so interesting. Really to take the listeners behind there. If we could do that, yeah.
Can I throw one more thing? And see, I'm rushing because I know I don't want to keep it too long, and I'll be very quick. One thing for sure has got to happen, whether Drink is back or not. Long story short, SEC games only. Mizzou has this year the worst passing offense in the conference. And if you go back to compare to where they were in 2023, 2024, for example, it's unbelievable how bad this passing game is. And we all remember when we all used to say, Brady Cook, they need someone who can throw the ball downfield. Brady Cook is like Dan Fouts now, in comparison,
Yeah.
Their quarterback play is horrendous.
Yep. And no protection for the quarterback either.
Right.
It's a really waste of a great running game and great receivers and great defense.
Yeah.
And also the kicking game could use some work, just saying.
Well, yeah, I think so.
Buddy, I appreciate you.
Right,
read all of his stuff online. Watch him on YouTube. He's Bernie Miklasz, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Have a great day, bud.
Okay. Say hello to Chaim Bloom. Take care.
Absolutely will. Josh Schertz is next on KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
3-2 delivery on its way.
There, when he became a hometown hero.
Swing and a high drive to center field. Get up, baby. Get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah. David Freese has just sent us into game number 7. This series is tied 3-3 with a walk-off home run here in the bottom of the 11th inning.
This team deserves this, and this organization is top-notch, and these fans are unbelievable, and they are the best fans in baseball. This is definitely a dream come true.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX. The voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com. KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
At Hardee's, every Tuesday is now Tender Bender Tuesday. Right now, download the Hardee's app and join My Rewards. Buy 3 hand-breaded chicken tenders, get 3 free. It's Tender Bender BOGO. Every Tuesday now through June 2026. This Tuesday, get 3 tenders, free. Next Tuesday, get them free. The Tuesday after that, you guessed it, free. Buy 3 tenders, get 3 free. Another great benefit for My Rewards members. Only at Hardee's. Registration and app required. Available for limited time at participating restaurants. See app for terms.
This is Megan Lynch. 250 doctors go to Ophthalmology Associates. That's why I trust them. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Discover how you can make unforgettable memories with a home equity line of credit from Royal Banks of Missouri. Whether you're dreaming of a winter family getaway, planning your next home renovation project, or considering an investment in your education goals, a home equity line of credit is a flexible and convenient option to fund life's most memorable moments on your schedule. Our local bankers are here to help you achieve your short and long-term financial goals. Call 314-212-1500. That's 314-212-1500. Visit us online at royalbanksofmo.com or stop by a Royal Banks location near you. For more details on how you can tap into your home's equity and get the most out of its current value. Investing in our communities, one client at a time. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. We are joined by the head coach at St. Louis University, Josh Schertz. Our visits with him are sponsored by Royal Banks of Missouri. Big soccer game starting in 24 minutes, Coach. You got the men taking on Indiana on the road, second round of the NCAA tournament. A couple of big timers there in terms of soccer history.
Yeah, no question. What a great opportunity. Our guys have been just lights out. I told Kevin, it's pretty incredible. I mean, it seems like they are down 1-0 every game, and then here recently, and then late in the game they find a way to tie it, and then constantly are coming out, in the end of the game and converting and executing. So they've been unbelievable all year long. Got great chemistry. They're on a great run, and as long as Kurt Signetti's on the other sideline, I feel good about the Billikens' chances today to get this done in Bloomington.
I wonder if Sig will show up to the game. He's probably deep into some Purdue film right now. I
would assume so.
Deep into some Purdue film.
So, yeah.
What are you seeing on Santa Clara? Here they come. You get them again, and that'll happen on Thanksgiving night. This is going to be one heck of a matchup.
Yeah, great team. We'll be a quad one game for sure. They're an NCAA tournament team. I think they're significantly better than last year. They lost a couple pieces, but they're exponentially better. Got size, terrific defensively, unbelievable on the offensive glass, defensive glass. Got great size, versatility, terrific on both ends of the floor. I think without question, best team we've played so far, and arguably it'll be the best team we'll play here in the non-conference, I think, and as good as anybody in the Atlantic 10. I really believe that. They're, you can look at, different metrics, but if you take out, Torvik's the one that updates it, when you take out the preseason stuff, which kind of gives their opinion before you start playing, and Torvik's got them 19th in the country in terms of what they've been from November 3rd on, and I would say they look like a top 25 team, and it's a great test for us. We could not be more excited, but that's going to be a whale of a game Thursday night.
You're starting to get some attention from those who follow college basketball closely. I think they've all been on the Billikens, but now people are starting to turn heads a little bit. 5-0 for the first time since the 2021 team. Purdue-Fort Wayne falls in a 91-60 defeat at Chaffetz Arena, and another great defensive effort by your team. Your team's really played good defense mostly all season at every part of the game just about. But the thing that jumped out to me was the shooting. I mean, 51% from the floor, 42% from three, 94% from the free throw line, Josh Schertz. I mean, that'll work as you get the win and go to 5-0.
Yeah, certainly. We feel like, we have a team that, the way people think, or I guess narratives unfold, is if you score a lot of points, that means you're going to be bad defensively. Like somehow they're binary things that you can't be, or mutually exclusive. You can't be really score a ton or play fast offensively and play good defense. But even going back to our teams at Indiana State, we led the league in defensive efficiency in 23-24. I think we were fourth in the A-10 last year, and hopefully we'll be up. This should be our best defensive team since I've been in Division I in terms of the size and athleticism and ability we have to really kind of flatten you out. And I thought our defense was good against Fort Wayne. Ball pressure wasn't great. We didn't create as much havoc as we wanted to in terms of turnovers, but they're really hard to guard. They got three great guards that combined average 51 points a game, and we did a great job on those three. And I think, for us, the defense is always, going back to my time as the head coach, I mean, that's always been what we've hung our hat on, because, it's hard to play good offense. You're taking the ball in the net every single possession. Our defense and our ability to get stops, get rebounds, cause turnovers, and get out and play in transition, all that's predicated on being able to get stops defensively. And so, that's the cornerstone of what we're doing. We got a team that has a lot of ability in terms of on that defensive end, a lot of size, a lot of versatility, and then the firepower offensively, like you hit on. We feel like we've shot it okay. But we really feel like there's going to be some games here we can really get going. And we started the game off against, Fort Wayne. I think we were 11 for 17 from three, finished 2 for our last 14, tapered off there a little bit. But it was good to see some guys get going. Obviously, Trey Green's super capable, hit 4 threes. And I think that's just a little window into what's coming for him. And then, Robbie, Eshawn, a bunch of guys are shooting above 50% from the three-point line. Those guys just continue to take great shots. And when they do, we're going to have a chance to be a really explosive offensive team.
No question. Green's going to hit some big clutch shots for you this season. You can just see it coming. He is big time. Now, a year ago, the expectations were not what they were now for Amari McCautry. He could be, when it's all said and done, your most complete player. His line in the box score is really interesting. 5 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, a steal, and he turned it over 6 times. Now, I will say that's the other thing about your offense. If you're having that many possessions and you're pushing it like you are going to turn the ball over now and then, aren't you?
Yeah, I think there's a reasonable amount of turnovers. We don't look at things. It goes back to kind of like, I guess people view, when they talk about defense, they view it as how many points per game you allow. Well, to me, that's not really relevant. It's how many points per possession you allow, right? I mean, that would be, if you give up 70 points, but you play 75 possessions defensively, that's pretty good defense. If you give up, 60 points, but you play 50 possessions on defense, that's pretty bad. Even though, you would say, well, 60 is better than 70, not if the possessions are lower. So everything for us is based on the amount of possessions we're playing. So on turnovers, we want to keep the percentage to 17% or less. And we're going to turn it over some because we're playing really fast. We're getting the ball into high leverage areas, which means we're getting the ball into the paint and trying to create rotations, and we're relying on QB decisions. And we play where all 5 guys are activated and decision makers. We don't play with ball in hand with just one guy. So there's some things that are going to dictate, hey, our turnover percentage isn't going to be, among the lowest in the country just by those various reasons. But we got to be, we got to get it down from where it is. I don't think there's any question that when you look at us through 5 games, and even if you go back to, Iowa and Bradley, the turnovers have been an issue, and it's it's really widespread. Obviously, Amari has the ball in hand as much as anybody right now, and he's got to be better. I thought he was, I told him he was. Last year his floor was, when he was at his floor, he was unplayable. I think a lot of improvement for players, really in any area of life, but is so much more about raising your floor than it is raising your ceiling, right? What's your worst? And last year, at his worst, he was unplayably bad. I didn't think he was towards his worst on Friday, but his worst, as you said, he still was able to touch the game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and was impactful. Not as impactful as he needs to be, and that's part of his growth as a player is being able to answer the bell every single night, every single possession, and getting himself to that standard. Because when he does, like I say, when he's dialed in, I think he's not just as good a player as there is in our team, but I think he's as impactful a player as there is in the league. And, it's our job to get him to where he's answering that bell every game, and then as much as he can, as many possessions inside the game as possible. But he was, we got to clean up the turnovers. 6 is too many for him. 20-some% in that game was too much for us, but we're going to go back to work, and that's a big area of improvement for us as we get ready for California.
SLU in Santa Clara, Thanksgiving night. Plan your Thanksgiving dinner accordingly. 6 o'clock tip-off for them. We can't wait. Have a great, great trip and a great game.
Appreciate it, Tom. We'll see you when we get back. Look forward to it.
Let's talk to you soon. Josh Schertz, head coach of the Billikens. Chaim Bloom is next.
Missouri, the wait is almost over. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, going live December 1st. But you don't have to wait until then to sign up, because if you join today, you'll get an early sign-up bonus. You can get started with $400 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From live betting to same-game parlays, FanDuel is the best place to bet on all your favorite teams, sports, and players. FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Early sign-up $100 offer. Bonus bets expire 30 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Missouri. Unique user identity verification required. Post-launch $300 offer. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
i3 Broadband, where in the spirit of the season you can feast on 100% fiber internet. Whether you're shopping, streaming, gaming, or gathering, you need reliable and fast internet, and that's the good stuff you can stuff yourself on when you have i3. They always mirror upload and download speeds, they have a price lock guarantee, and you get unbeatable value, support, and service. Call today, 877-976-0711. They have plans for any budget, and you're likely to pay less money for better service compared with whoever currently provides your internet. That's i3 Broadband, i3broadband.com.
You know Graybar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Graybar does that.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Well, it's great to spend time with the Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, who once again has adjusted his schedule to accommodate KMOX radio. We have 8 minutes to spend with Chaim before we turn things over to the NFL. How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's a game of adjustments, as they say. So
That's right.
Happy to make one.
That's right. Chiefs Colts coming up on KMOX with an 11 o'clock pregame. Let's go kind of in reverse, if you don't mind, on some of the transactions that have taken place. So the latest, that the Cardinals did not tender contracts to the following. Jorge Alcala, we kind of knew that, as Alcala was DFA'd to make a little room for some of the players that you protected in the Rule 5 draft. John King, Joel Pozo. I mean, what a story. What a story he was. And then Sem Robertson, your right-handed pitcher. If you wouldn't mind commenting on those players as you announced those transactions a couple of days ago.
Yeah, happy to. So, this was the tender deadline where it's basically the deadline to tender contracts to all of your players who are under control and not already signed for next year. So for every team, that's most of your 40-man roster. Unless they are, free agent type players that have signed guaranteed contracts, this is how you retain all of them. So there's always some decisions that come around at that point in the year. And these were the guys that we just felt, it did not make sense to tender contracts to on the terms we would have needed to do so. Now, I will say these guys are all big league caliber players, and just because you non-tender them does not mean you're cutting ties forever. It just means you're letting them become free agents. Obviously, they then have the right to negotiate with the other 29 clubs, but we also can keep talking to them. If for whatever reason, just the terms that, by rule we would have to agree to with them don't make sense for us, but there's some different fit we see, we can keep talking to them. So we are going to do that with some of these guys, and hopeful that we might be able to keep some of them in the organization. But for now, we thought the best thing to do was to let them hit free agency.
And you had some players added to your 40-man, Leonardo Bernal, your catching prospects, outfielder Joshua Baez, who had a really good year, combination of power and speed. Cooper Jerpy coming off Tommy John, the funky side-arming lefty who can strike people out, and Bryson Motts, who's a great story, your minor league pitcher of the year. Let's start there with Motts, and we'll kind of work our way back, but is he kind of the example of what you were trying to accomplish with this new minor league system in reevaluating and maybe reinvigorating a pitcher's repertoire?
Yeah, he was really one of our big success stories this year in the minor leagues. And look, I am proud of our staff, our new staff and our returning staff coming together to enhance this pitching program. And I think they saw something in Bryson in spring training that I think most observers, certainly from the outside and even some from the inside, might not have seen, and were able to get Bryson to feel that too. But anytime a player makes this type of progress, credit always goes first and foremost to the player. So congrats to Bryson for the year that he had, well-deserving winner of that award. And now he's on the 40-man roster and knocking on the door. He's obviously still got some more to conquer before, he will be ready for the big leagues, but really made such good progress, understanding how to use his stuff, both his fastballs, his breaking balls. It's a funky angle from the left side, and he really just grew in terms of confidence and understanding who he was on the mound and had a great year.
And your minor league player of the year, J.J. Weatherholt, who we had on the air after the announcement. He was wonderful visiting with us on the Gas House Gang, and he is ready to go for 26. I mean, what a head on his shoulders, baseball player to a T. I'm curious about his path and sort of how you see him now and a path to the big leagues for him, or let's just start in spring training, what you expect to see out of him in Jupiter and how quickly he might be able to move up here to St. Louis.
Yeah, special guy, got a chance to be a special player, really another deserving and I could say an easy choice for that award, but obviously there's other guys. You mentioned Baez, who also had great years, and there are different ways we could have gone with it, but JJ's certainly deserving. I'm excited to see him in spring training. I mean, this guy, you heard it. He's ready to come in, and he knew last year in camp he was really there more to get his feet wet as a professional, be around the environment, learn that. He's going to come into spring looking to make the team. He certainly isn't far off, so it'll be exciting to see what we see in spring training.
And when you leave players unprotected, and one of them that jumped out to me was Blaze Jordan, who you did acquire from the Red Sox, one of your former teams. That is, you can only make so many moves, I suppose, and you have to make decisions sometimes as to who gets to stay and who is unprotected. What does it mean for somebody like a Blaze Jordan, or for that matter, Pete Hansen, the left-handed pitcher?
Yeah, every year there's always tough calls. The easy thing to do in the moment sometimes is to protect them. Feels good in that moment, but it might cost you that player or another player down the road, because at all times, obviously, you can only have 40. And when you add someone to the roster, you lose flexibility with them. And if at some point you need to take them off, now they don't have to be Rule 5. They don't have to stick in the big leagues for a whole year for you to lose them. Anybody can just take them and stash them in AAA. So it is sometimes worth making those calculated gambles. They are calculated gambles. You weigh the risk, you weigh the reward. Ultimately, that's where we came out on a few of those players, decided to protect the 4 that we did. We are obviously hopeful that we were able to retain the other guys through the Rule 5 draft and into the season. We know that by not protecting them, we do leave them exposed to the industry, and we'll see what happens with that. But overall, it's nice to be in a situation where you have tough decisions. It beats the alternative. You want to have these tough calls because it means you got a lot of players who have done something in your minor league system to make you think about protecting them. And that's exactly where we want to be. And hopefully the decisions only get tougher year in, year out from here.
And that draft will take place at the winter meetings in Orlando, which is the second week of December. And we expect a little more action when those meetings roll around. And in our final minute here, up until then, do you see the market moving as it moves right now? Is it kind of what you anticipated along Major League Baseball in terms of trades, free agency?
So far, yes, more or less. We've talked about it in the past. I think the whole offseason calendar has trickled a little bit later than it used to, just because of how much teams have to focus on their own organizations and focus on staffing and offseason prep. as we get into this thing. Now, that being said, it is starting to pick up a little bit. We've already seen a little bit of action on the trade market, a little bit on the free agent market. Usually there's a little bit of a rush before Thanksgiving. And then everybody takes a breath, and then you dive back into it. And the next big marker is the winter meetings, which is not long after Thanksgiving. So I think we'll start to see it pick up a little bit from here. But, certainly the pace of conversations behind the scenes has been very active throughout the industry, for us too. And it's probably just a matter of time before more things start happening and there are more headlines around the game.
A good visit as always. We appreciate the time. And if I don't talk to you before then, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, and happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Absolutely. Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. Coming up next, the NFL, the Chiefs, and the Colts from Arrowhead Stadium.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They